The King in Exile. The story of every man in the drift. Part 1. The Fall. The king who forgot his name. They say the kingdom dies long before the king does. Sometimes silently, sometimes slowly, sometimes without a single battle. This king's fall didn't begin with a sword or a war or an enemy at the gate. It began with a silence he couldn't quite name. At first it was a faint crack in the foundations, a sense that something in him was drifting beyond reach. The advisors still bowed, the people still cheered, but inside the high walls of his chest, a coldness formed. The wound came early, a betrayal he could not control, a forgetting he never asked for, a childhood echo whispering, "You are not wanted, you are not enough." He carried that echo into manhood like a curse carved into bone. One day, without warning, the abandonment returned. Not from the people, but from within himself. He began withdrawing from his own court, turning inward, pulling away from friends, lovers, allies. Not because they were dangerous, but because being seen felt more dangerous than being alone. His steps grew slower, his voice quieter, his fire smaller. And then the freeze. That psychic paralysis where a man can see what he must do, but cannot move towards it. He wandered his halls like a ghost, watching his throne gather dust, avoiding the mirrors, afraid of the reflection that no longer felt like him. The loss of mission flowed naturally, for a king without a name cannot lead a kingdom with one. As days slipped into weeks, the kingdom dimmed, the streets felt quiet, the banners drooped, and even the wind seemed to forget how to speak his name. And so he left, not ceremoniously, not with an army, not with a banner of exile. He simply drifted away into the wilderness that matched the one inside his chest. A lone wanderer, an unthroned king, a man who had become a shadow beside his own life. This was the identity collapse. The moment he realized he was no longer living, merely surviving. And from the edges of the unknown, he looked back at his kingdom, the relationships he neglected, the dreams he paused, the purpose he silenced, and whispered the most painful truth of all. I did this to myself. And the shadow kingdom swallowed him whole. Every man has a moment where the world goes quiet and he realizes he's been living a shadow of who he truly is. In modern life, exile doesn't look like deserts and abandoned kingdoms. It looks like your phone lighting up with messages you don't answer. It looks like drifting through the day with no direction. It looks like sitting in a room full of people and feeling completely alone. Disconnection today isn't dramatic. It's subtle, silent. It creeps in through overthinking, self-doubt, numbing, losing touch with your purpose, convincing yourself that no one really sees you, withdrawing instead of expressing, working hard but feeling invisible, losing structure, routine, identity. telling yourself, I'm fine, when you're not. This is the exile of the modern man, a life full of noise, yet a heart full of silence. If you hear your story in the story of the King, brother, you're not broken, you're not weak, you're not lost. You're simply a man who has forgotten his name. And this is where you begin to remember. End of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.